as the lunch wound down, Kadyrov looks at me and you see this twinkle in his eyes. And he goes, hey, want to see the troops again? And I'm like, why the hell not? I mean, when in Chechnya, do as the Chechens ask. Let me set this up. As we got out of the car going into Ramzan Kadyrov's residence, I noticed a man near the entrance, and there's this huge white wolf. And when I say huge, I mean huge, gigantic white wolf. And the white wolf is jumping up and this man's feeding it. It was Ramzan Kadyrov playing with that wolf. And I just imagine him saying, little wolf, I have a big fat American coming for lunch and he's going to be delicious. You know, I'm just imagining myself being fed to the wolves, literally, because the wolf is the national symbol of Chechnya. But no, it was just Ramzan doing what Ramzan does. So he's like, hey, you want to go see the troops? And I'm like, why not? And he goes, you know, I command 25,000 of them here in Grozny. I went, cool, nice. And so we walk out. As we walk out the back door, I immediately know something's wrong because there's soldiers lining the whole exit. But all I can see is that first line of soldiers. And I'm like, well, damn, this was quick. The troops are right here. Okay. And a soldier comes up and salutes and says, the troops are ready. And then we just keep walking. And it's a rolling, grounds of the palace with hills and everything covered with soldiers. Garland, you have no clue what it was like to walk out and go, holy beep, the whole damn hill is crawling with frickin' Chechen troops, armed to the teeth. I mean, they are in full combat gear, armed. And then as we make the turn, wham, there they are again, all on the hills. And then they part like Moses going through the Red Sea. And we walk through them. And we get to the stage of the presidential main palace, and you look out, and it is literally just a sea of Chechen soldiers. And I'm going, this is the coolest thing I have ever experienced in my life. And then Ramzan gets up there and gives a speech. Now, anybody who knows me, I'm dead honest. My Russian sucks. It is horrible. I understand half of what people say, and I can communicate basic concepts, but I am not a Russian linguist. So I'm sitting there listening to Kadyrov's speech, and it's in heavily accented Russian because he's a Chechen, and I'm getting about a third of it. And I'm going, okay, Ukraine, fighting the forces of evil, Satanism, got it. And then he turns and he goes, and now I'd like to invite Scott Ritter to come and address you. And I went, no, you don't. And he's like, come forward. And I'm like, holy shit. And so now I'm walking up going, what am I even going to say? And Olga, who is Alexander Zyryanov's fiance, she's coming with me to translate. And okay. She's going, please don't do this to me. Please don't. So that meant, damn it, I got to do this in Russian. So I went, if you're going to do something, be bold. So I just strutted up there. Bam, bam, bam. Hi, bam. And I enter into the speech where I had no idea what I was going to say. I'm just saying it, trying to scramble for the few words of Russian that I know, and I'm putting them together. And next thing I know, I have a coherent speech, and it's done. And I walk off the stage going, I survived that. But let me make one other observation. Anybody who's been in the military, have you ever done anything with a American presidential delegation when the president comes to town or something like that?
Yes, I have. I have. In law enforcement, I have on more than one occasion.
And do they remove the ammunition from?
Yes, they do. I sat on the stage behind George W. Bush. I was right behind him on national TV. They stuck me right behind him. But the first thing they did was they took everybody. We didn't even get to take our guns in. I was in law enforcement. Everybody's gun had to go before you came in.
Okay, so now people are like, Kadyrov's hated. Those people don't love him. He's a dictator. Every dude, and these are Chechen warriors. These are, if you've seen them, they're bad dudes, man. They're up there. They are holding machine guns with live ammunition round in the chamber. I mean, remember, the first time I was there, they did a live fire demonstration, and it was sort of loud. And they look at my daughter Victoria was there with me, and they go, oh, she needs hearing protection. The dude, Lord, that's his name, Lord, pulls out his pistol, takes 2 9mm rounds and shoves them in her ears. So their hearing protection are bullets that you put in your ears, okay? That's the Chechens. Every one of them has locked and loaded. They have live RPGs. They have live machine guns. They're out 25,000 dudes. Ramzan's not afraid. Ramzan's like, I'm your leader. And they're like, you're our leader. And you have to see it to experience it. This is real. It's not, it's theatrical. Hell, it was an act. He hasn't done that for anybody. I don't know why he did it for me. He didn't do it for Putin. I mean, this was the strangest freaking thing in my life, but it was amazing. But the thing that I walked away from it was, yes, I know it was theater. I know that first of all, where these dudes just live in town. They're literally a pager army. They got all their crap in their house or in their cars. And I guess halfway through the meal, he went, screw it, pushed the button, said, mobilize the garrison. And while we're eating, they're all coming out of their apartment, putting on their crap, locking and loading their weapons, walking through the streets of Grozny, 25,000 men converging on the presidential palace where they're there. And it's just like, holy crap, it was real. But the other thing is, these aren't just Chechen warriors. These are Russian warriors. These guys all fought in Ukraine, and they are as dedicated to this mission as anybody. You can call them Chechens, and they damn well know they're Chechens, but they all wear the flag of Russia on their arm, and they fight for Russia, and they fight for Vladimir Putin. And you can call them TikTok warriors all you want. I had dinner with Adam Dilikanov. He's the commander of the Chechen forces that helped capture Mariupol, helped the final battles of Azovstal. Dude's real. I mean, I was asking him questions during the meal, like, okay, screw it. I got the commander here. I'm going to ask questions about the battle. On the way out of his residence, he goes, come on into my study. And we come in the study, and he pulls out the actual maps that he used fighting the battle. He pulls them out, lays them out on his table, and he starts explaining to me, showing the Ukrainian forces where his concentration was, explaining his tactics, his battle plan, his strategy. Then he opens up his little laptop thing, and he starts showing me the actual, imagery that the Russians used, overlaid with day by day, saying, okay, this is what we're doing this day. Then he points to the map, and he flicks it, and I'm sitting there going, holy shit, if I was in active duty right now, I'd get a god darn medal, because this is the coolest shit in the world. Excuse my language, but I mean, I'm being briefed by the commander using classified material. Wow. It was just, but this is I had dinner with Abdi Alduanov. He was the current commander of Chechen forces. He's now been assigned to the Russian General Staff Academy. So he's moving his way up the thing. But talking to this guy, he was a hardcore anti-Russian Chechen guerrilla. Mm-hmm. He was on the other side. And he, at one point in time, he listened to, Akhmat Kadyrov, and he went, yeah, I get it. I'm taking a look at these bad people, including a guy named Shamil Basayev, who was a Chechen, but he had gone over to the dark side. And he's like, Shamil doesn't represent what I represent. So he joined them. He was given the task of, after Beslan, after the slaughter of the Russian children in Beslan, of hunting down Shamil Basayev. With 6 men, he went into the mountains, and for 6 months, he tracked down Shamil Basayev and 150 Chechen guerrillas, and he killed them. They slaughtered his entire family. They killed his father, his brothers, his uncles. 20 of his closest relatives were slaughtered. Shamil Basayev did. But Abdi stayed loyal to the cause and killed. And then, as part of when the war ended, you lose 20 members. That means you're going down to each clan that killed, and you're going to kill them. And if Abdi is a hell of a man. I mean, nice guy. But you look in his eyes, you go, I'm in the presence of a killer. This guy will, if he had to, he'd kill me right now. Right now, no questions asked. He'd smile. But to show you the strength of the charisma of Akhmat Kadyrov and his son, Ramzan, they convinced Abdi and all the Chechen men to stop the blood feud. It's over. It's finished. It's done. Bury the hatchet. And it took a while, and there's still some tension there, because the blood feud is real. The Chechen soldiers that died, just for all the Ukrainians listening, understand this. If a Chechen soldier dies in Ukraine and they bring him back and they bury him, there's a marking, a flag that goes up on the grave that says that he has not been avenged. And the flag can't come down until he's been avenged. So that means that every single one of these damn Ukrainians that are out there are thinking, that's war's going to end. Nope, they're going to hunt you down and kill you for the rest of your life. That's the way the Chechens work. Do not piss off the Chechens. So this is real. This is real as it gets. So as much as fun as it was one of the most empowering experiences of my life in driving home the absolute reality. And here's the thing. In the United States, nobody's listening to me. I mean, you are, and I know there's people listening here, but everybody's going, the Chechens, this, that. Guys, this is real. And if you don't understand how real this is, then you don't understand this conflict. You don't understand anything that's going on there. This is why it was an invaluable experience. And I'm going to do my best to try and capture it and get it out there so that it's more than just, wow, Scott Ritter was in front of 25,000 people. Whatever you think about it. There's people that hate me for it, condemn me for it. I don't care. There's people who think it's the coolest thing in the world. I agree. It was the coolest thing in the world. But it more than being cool, it was part of a process where the Chechens are going out of their way to educate an American about the reality of Chechnya today. And that's the takeaway, is that Chechnya is not some land of fanatics that can be ripped out of Russia like many in the West want to do. Chechnya is part of the Russian Federation. It is, in many ways, represents the heart and soul of an important aspect of the Russian Federation, because Russia is a nation not just of Russian Slavs. It's a very diverse nation with hundreds of ethnicities. The Chechens are one of these ethnicities, and the Chechens are a prime example of how non-Slavic nations, non-Slavic people view themselves as Russian. Russian is more than just being a Slav. Russian is a national identity that transcends religion, because the Chechens are Muslim. They are deeply religious people, and the Russians are deeply Orthodox Christian, and they get along great. They get